Today, Nigerians rely solely on generators to complement the little supply of electricity, and at the end of the month, they pay huge bills. One problem has been re-echoed, and that is corruption. Well, let's take the conversation to the author of the book, From Darkness to Darkness, How Nigerians Are Paying the Price for Corruption in the Electricity Sector. Associate Professor of Energy and Electricity Law, Professor Yemi of the University of Lagos. Many thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
The SERB report highlighted over 11 trillion naira utilized during the past 3 administrations since 1999. Why are we just finding out now?
The facts have always been there, documented but not amplified in various written documents. What SERB did was to formally commission us to pull off all those facts. What we discovered was that right from the regime of President Olusegun Obasanjo, when the NIPP started, that's National Integrated Power Project, with power plants all over the country, a lot of money spent. Thereafter, we looked at the regime of privatization of Jonathan. We looked at the money that were owed to NEPA and PACN that were mainstreamed into the asset of the new entities, as well as a whole lot of money spent by government, incentives.
You keep saying facts, but SERB has also asked the EFCC to look into this.
Yeah, we asked EFCC to look into specific issues of allegation that we felt were not properly concluded. There were allegations even right from the era of the REA, Rural Electrification Agency, where Rural Electrification Fund to the tune of billions was allegedly funded by some political actors. Then we haven't really achieved much in terms of getting to the bottom of that. We felt, well, it was difficult. What we saw as practicing lawyer, what we saw was that it was always difficult for the investigating agencies to get credible facts from the institution that is involved. For instance, REA is expected to give you facts, documents, and papers that shows that certain frauds have been committed. But it's always difficult to get those facts from the same institution that has been investigated. I will have that even in a whole lot of instances, and all those were documented in the
65-page document made a projection that the amount may increase to over 20 trillion naira in the next decade, meaning leakages continue even as we speak.
To be frank, and already we are seeing it, because toward the tail end of the Jonathan administration, about 430-something billion naira was made available by way of power sector intervention. Then the current administration is also now looking at a kind of guarantee, the tune of over 700 billion naira. Put that together, that's 1 trillion in a few years, and it's going to continue like that. But then, what really got to worry is that on the one hand, we see mega corruption and petty corruption. Petty corruption in the sense that even some consumers are really consuming power and not paying. The minister mentioned it, and that's documented. We discover a situation in which some will play down on the amount of tariff or electricity bill they ought to pay, and go back to negotiate a kind of settlement with the business entities. Some will overpay, like a company will pay in excess, and somebody goes back there to collect the extra and share. All those are petty corruption. Now, I've always said in this studio that it is an offense, it is criminal, it is corruption to consume power and not pay. It's also illegal to pay for services you have not are consumed, like what we discover in some cases.
I really wish we had more time to talk about this evolving allegations, but many thanks, Associate Professor of Energy and Electricity Law, Professor Yemi from the University of Lagos, for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you.
A Kenyan official has dismissed claims made by the opposition that Raila Odinga had more votes in Tuesday's poll. Abi Guliye says the claims were ridiculous with no credible data to show. Odinga supporters have been out on the streets celebrating after the party said its candidate Raila Odinga should be declared winner of the election. A few surprises have sprung in the election, including 23-year-old John Murigi, who became Kenya's youngest parliamentarian. While the Electoral Commission is expected to make a final declaration of results by noon tomorrow, clashes have been reported in certain parts of the country as results trickle in. But let's join Ayotuni Balogun for some sports stories.
Many thanks, Millicent. MPFL top scorer Stephen Ode and his strike partner at MFM FC Sikiru Olatomosu have been listed in the Super Eagles squad for Sunday's 2018 African Nations Championship qualifier against Benin Republic. The pair are joined by familiar faces like Ikechukwu Ezenwa, Rabiu Ali, El Hassan Ibrahim and Chima Akes for the game. Also listed are Emmanuel Arewachukwu, Stephen Eze, Hafiz Aremu, Raphael Ayagwa and Kingsley Eduo. The Senegalese Professional Football League LSFP has handed a 7-year ban to US Wakam following the crowd trouble which left 8 people dead during a League Cup final against Stade Mbour last month. The LSFP's disciplinary committee said it holds Wakam exclusively responsible for the tragedy at the Demba Diop Stadium on July the 15th. Borussia Dortmund has suspended forward Ousmane Dembele until next week after he missed training today. Dembele will now miss Saturday's German Cup first round game. The German club also rejected an offer from Barcelona for the France international. A Mexico national football team captain Rafa Marquez has denied U.S. accusations that he has links with a drugs cartel. Marquez said he would cooperate with investigations, has made a voluntary declaration to Mexico's Attorney General. He was one of 21 people and 42 organizations singled out by the U.S. Treasury Department for sanctions. And that's sports news. The news at 10 continues in a moment.
And the men news again. Former Commonwealth Secretary General Chief Emeka Anyaoku and former Under Secretary General to the United Nations Professor Ibrahim Gambari today joined other prominent Nigerians to reiterate calls for the restructuring of the country at the second annual lecture of the Akintola Williams Foundation. The National Orientation Agency today also raised alarm over continued hate speeches by Nigerians, saying the trend has assumed disturbing dimensions. Well, also today, American President Donald Trump reacted to North Korea's missile threat by warning Pyongyang of planned strikes on Guam. And that's news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. Do have a good night.